It's time for Game On Hockey with Travis Dunn and Scott Taylor.
Near side, Reese Gaber shoots, score!
Talking all things from the blue line to the red line.
A breakaway for Kaprizov. He's in. He shoots. He scores.
And beyond.
Sure, old-time hockey. Like 80s Shore. Yeah.
Now here are your hosts, Travis Dunn and Scott Taylor.
Well, we got a crowded room here, but a fun room. And with that, I introduce the head coach of the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks, Brad Berry. Thanks, Brad, for accepting the invitation and joining us in this fun and frivolity hour with Scott Taylor. And, of course, you see his picture there, Rick Zombo.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be here. It's what a crew here. It's honored to be on. It's an honor to be on with all you guys today. And again, congrats, Rick. I know you and I talked here last week, but congrats,
thanks, Bob.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Bubba.
I was just talking to Rick, Brad, about the fact that you, Rick, Scott Sandelin, all played together at one point in time for UND, and now you're all NCAA Division I coaches, and that says a great deal to me about the quality of the program at the University of North Dakota.
Well, you know what? I think I just jumped on when Rick was talking a little bit about the culture and the guys that came before us, and he's spot on. It's so true. You know, when Gino and Marksy and Blazer, Kerry Eads and that crew later on, they recruited the guys that come into our program. Rick Wilson was a big part of it as well. He was an assistant coach there too. And I think you have to be a really good player to come to North Dakota, but you have to have outstanding character and leadership qualities. And you're seeing a lot of guys go on to the coaching. You're seeing Dave Tippett, Dave Hackstall, you know, at the NHL level. So like I said, I think Gino did a good job of trying to get the right guys in the right seats on the bus. And at the end of the day, you know, that's the next best thing is coaching after you're done playing the game.
When we were at the break, Rick, you talked about the fact that as an NHL alumni, you get plenty of help. I would imagine as a UND alumni, you get plenty of help.
Yeah, we were talking at that break, Scott. It is so the NHL, we have probably one of the best alumni associations here in St. Louis. And I see them frequently. We skate 3 times a week. But when you're really in need, they're a phone call away. And they're very resourceful, very respected in town. And it's no different than being a UND alumni, where I've got alumni that have children that have played that since the past 3 weeks, they're reaching out to me for their children, or they know another player in a team in a program. The networking really assists on the recruiting. But the humility that I get out of the extension of people that I've been in touch with for years, it's very familiar. It refreshes. It moves the memories from the back of my closet up to the front.
Well, you talk about memories, but back when you guys were teammates, we'll touch base on that. Brad Berry, you know, Brad. You know, who's the older one? You were the sophomore probably when Brad was a freshman, right? At
Correct.
UND. That's correct.
Correct.
So did you take him under your wing and teach him about the red pepper and all those fun places?
He did. He absolutely did. Actually, Rick, you know, I don't know if he remembers this, but I was a freshman, kind of true freshman coming in. And you know, he was a guy that was a veteran there, and he took me under his wing. And we had a pretty solid decor with Glenn Klotz there and Sandy and a few other guys, Jim Wade, Maywis, and Bill Whitsitt. We had a really good, strong decor, and they were older. And all those guys, you know, they showed you the way, and they showed you what the Sioux way was at North Dakota.
Bubba, I thought we had a better team. So that was my sophomore year when we lost in the quarters. I thought that was a team that definitely could have won. And that's when the Frozen Four was right there in Grand Forks. I thought that team was unreal.
100%. You know, we had 9 freshmen that year we came in there, and that was a lot of freshmen. But again, it doesn't happen unless the older guys bring you under their wing and take you in. And we were out in Troy, New York there. We were out at the regional and kind of brought back memories. And, you know, back then, you know, you were talking about that. The NCAAs at the time, we had to go play in RPI. We had to play in their building. It was 2-game total point. 2 games total point. And you know they had guys like George Servinas and Darren Pupa and a really good
Adam Oates.
Adam Oates. Yeah, St. Louis Blue alum. Really good team. And we went in there, and John Casey obviously was a big part of that too, and won the 2 games. We stayed the week later and played in Lake Placid, New York, in the Frozen Face-Off there. So yeah, that was a good team.
I guess it's my turn. Both of you guys played in the NHL at about the same time, exactly the same time.
I think so.
What was it like playing against each other?
Well, you know what? Like for me, playing in Winnipeg, I don't know if we played a whole lot in the division. We were in the Pacific Division at the time, and obviously it's LA, Calgary, Edmonton, those teams back then, and I think St. Louis was in the North, and Detroit was in the North. So we only played a few times, but I remember Rick obviously is a hard-nosed defenseman that played the game the right way, had a long career there, and they had some good teams when he was in Detroit and in St. Louis. They were battles. They were heavy battles.
Well, speaking of heavy battles, now Lyndon was in the Division I program, the World. He mentioned that you and he will be coaching against each other now. Another chapter of your friendship. When is that game scheduled for? Do you have an actual date set up for it?
Go ahead, Rick.
Things are moving around.
Yeah.
Schedules are moving around. So we had the beginning of August, and I think it's moving. Beginning of October, and I think it's moved to the end of October.
Awesome.
We started with one game, and now it's moved to two.
Yeah, we've got a lot of moving parts here going forward here, but we did connect last week, and we're kind of scheduling it here. And one of the things too, and I know Rick obviously wants to be a little secretive here and release the schedule once it's all set. But we do plan on playing this year, and hopefully we can get some certainty to the date, and then we'll go from there.
I heard you had a pretty good week, Bradbury.
Yeah, we have some guys
all
coming.
Good things that came together.
Yeah, we have some guys coming back, and obviously due to COVID, they're allowed to play their fifth year, and having Mark Senden and Gavin Hain come back for their fifth year. And we were at the other end of it last year. We lost I think 8 guys to NHL contracts, and we didn't really have any seniors that could come back another fifth year. And teams like St. Cloud and Western and Omaha, they had a lot of guys that came back. So I think we're at the other end of it. It doesn't guarantee a success, but at the end of the year, end of the day, it's good to have some veteran leadership backing.
The one commonality I see between you two, and that's Rick Zombo is our guest, along with Brad Berry, the head coach of the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks, is the fact that, the way you talk about your programs, nothing guarantees success. And I see such a parallel line between the two of you. And obviously that goes back to your days at UND and all the way through the National Hockey League. But the parallel is very evident that, you have to prepare the same. Success is not a guarantee whether you're a first-round draft pick or a 10th-round draft pick. You have to earn each and every win. Rick, comment to that if you would.
It's just our personality as hockey players. You just don't take tomorrow for granted. Work is usually never anything to measure the character of a person. You just got to be who you are and respect the opponents. I mean, you only control what your day provides, and you just got to make certain you have a plan and you work the plan. But whatever happens tomorrow, then you take it on them.
Rick, we'll let you exit stage left if you wish. I know that the overtime period, Denver, and they're tied to 2, so you can get the heck off here. We really appreciate you joining Brad, and we'll hopefully have this kind of a fun conversation again in the future. Hockey shows get way too serious, and we want to keep it light but have fun at the same time, right?
I appreciate my time on Game On.
You got it.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
See you, bud.
Really appreciate it.
Rick.
So with that, Brad, obviously, and I didn't want to have, you continue on about your great week because I didn't want him to come in October and feel, like he's going to get beat to death. But obviously a wonderful Christmas week for you. We'll go through the list. Hain and Senden are coming back. Ty Farmer is transferred from UMass. Are you able to speak of these players until they come to campus? I want to make sure.
Yeah, so both we have 2 transfers, grad transfers going in their 5th year. Ty Farmer and Drew DeRitter from Michigan State. They both signed their grant and aid letter, so we're free to comment on them. But last year, we lost 14 players. We had 13 returning players. Yep. We had to bring 14 new players in. We brought 9 freshmen. We had to go into the transfer portal because we couldn't bring 14 freshmen in, and that's a lot of guys, a lot of new guys. So we got some experience. We had some success with it. We're not going to go that deep into it this year. We'll get maybe 1 more at the most if we ever do. But at the end of the day, we brought a goaltender with great experience in the Big Ten, and Drew DeRitter had an outstanding experience at Michigan State, had success there. And then Ty Farmer, who's won a national championship in UMass, playing along with Cale McCarr and a lot of good players there. And actually, he's got deep roots to North Dakota. When we went through this quick recruiting process with him, he had great memories of Fargo, playing for the Force for Kerry Eads and playing there with Mark Senden. They won a championship together in the USHL. And, I went back to talk to Mark about him, and he had nothing but great things to say and said he would fit into our culture the right way. So, again, those are 2 that are going to hopefully help us right away.
Reese Gaber didn't leave. He's going to come back.
No, you know what? He loves this town. He absolutely, you know, when you're from Gilbert Plains, Manitoba,
Yeah.
you know what, Scott? We can't get enough Manitobans. If you got more up there, send them down, man. I'll tell you, we've had a lot of success with him, and he's just a hardworking, humble guy. And I'll tell you what, he makes everybody else around him better. And again, we're going to put a good team around him next year. And you know, like I said, he came back for the right reasons, and we're grateful for that.
I'm going to ask
Well,
a
let me
question.
tell you,
Oh, go
the
ahead.
way
Yeah.
people feel about the University of North Dakota up here, I can give you hundreds of guys. You got to make a decision on who you want.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of junior hockey players in Manitoba who would give both arms to play for the Fighting Hawks.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Scott. And I know, you know, we have a lot of deep relationships with the junior coaches up there, and I'm glad to see the Niverville Nighthawks come into the Manitoba Junior League, another organization that hopefully can produce players for the NCAA.
And we had Paul Dick on last week, someone you have a great relationship, who brings his team down from Steinbach and has some Moorhead kids and some other kids from the North Dakota area who have gone up there and played. And you talk about that pipeline, you know, the coaches helping develop and keeping in touch with that. Your cell phone must have an awful lot of phone numbers in it.
Yeah, they do. They do. But you know what I love about picking up the phone and talking to coaches, to players, to parents, to even advisors, talking to them a little bit. But, you know, it's a situation where I firmly believe it. Like, you know, had passion and love playing the game. And once you get out of playing the game, the next best thing is coaching and helping the young guys. And, you know, like I said, some of the guys that came through our program, whether they went on to long NHL careers or whether they went on to, you know, Steph Patton's up in Manitoba that has started a construction company that's doing outstanding, went through our entrepreneurship program. I'm just as proud of him as Zach Parisi or TJ Oshie in the NHL, and just to be a small sliver of their life. I feel invigorated when that happens.
Yeah, the Steph Patton story is a great story. You mentioned the construction company. He took over his dad's business and just expanded it. He has a great deal of respect and went back home to St. Anne and is maybe one of your greatest ambassadors, because every time I see him, it's just UND, UND, UND.
Yeah, you know what? And again, he wasn't promised. When we talked about earning it, it doesn't guarantee a success. Well, he wasn't. He had to earn everything he got. He wasn't guaranteed anything when he came here, and he fit into a role that bypassed a lot of draft picks and high scholarship guys, and was captain of our team here. So again, it's a situation where we love those guys that are all in, and that's what makes UND special. And we've had a lot of success because the guys have a strong affiliation for our program.
By the way, you're listening to Game On. I'm going to do a little thing here, Scott. I have to tell people listen to Game On Hockey. Yeah. Game On Hockey. No, I'm not selling any more golf clubs. That commercial schedule has been run over, but you can still go to the golf center and pick up some clubs. It's going to be summer eventually, right? I mean, the ice is going to come off the lake eventually. We're hoping for that. But you're listening to Game On Hockey with Scott Taylor, Travis Dunn each Thursday night. Next week is our finale for the season, so make sure to tune in next week. And Brad Berry is the voice you hear, the coach of the Fighting Hawks. But a question I'm going to ask Brad, and this, I know Tyler Clevin announced that he's going to stay and play one more year.
Yeah.
And you're an old defenseman. I'm an old defenseman who played the physical game. He's a big guy. Was there frustration with him? I could see his frustration. I'm not unloading on guys realizing he'd be penalized because he's so much bigger than the other guys. Is that basically a good analogy there?
Yeah, you know what? And it's a situation, I think if you ask Tyler too, you know, there was some frustration. I'll tell you what, though, like from where he was 2-3 years ago to where he is now, he's much more refined in the fact of being more discerning and when to use your body in the middle of the ice, along the wall or whatever it is. Yeah, he did get a couple of penalties, a couple of major penalties, but at the end of the day, you know, those are things that's the reason why he's here. And that's the reason why, you know, at this level here of playing under control and playing assertive game, but playing in control. And you know what? He did make some jarring, bone-thundering checks that weren't called for penalties because he played the right way. So, again, you know, that's a big reason for him coming back to refine his game, and he's done a really good job there. And the other part for me is the leadership side. Like, I'll tell you what, you never can replace leadership as far as playing an extra year, because if you're a young guy that's always chasing the next level, you'll never really get to be a leader until you experience at a lower level, whether it's college or junior. He'll be one of our leaders this year, doing the right things on and off the ice.
You have a veteran team. You got some veteran players this week. But last year you had to bring in all those freshmen. When you go recruiting, and I've been watching this Denver-Michigan game and watching the NCAA all year, To me, that game is speed, speed, speed.
Yep.
It is not grinding hockey to be successful in Division One.
No.
Is the first thing you look for the wheels?
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I think that's changed, Scott, in the last little while. Everybody, like now, it's funny. It seems like kids nowadays, instead of going to those generic hockey schools, you have development coaches, you have skating coaches, you have shooting coaches, you have, but skating is something that absolutely you have to play with pace. If you can't get around the ice, that's going to be a situation where, you're at a deficit, you're at a disadvantage. And again, you have to have the speed and the mobility, agility to get around the ice. For us at North Dakota, I think everybody else kind of puts a criteria on what they look for to check those boxes. That's right at the top of our list. Competitiveness is probably right there with it. You know what I mean? As far as guys that have ultra high compete level, instead of, you can find the fastest guy and the guy that can shoot a puck and rip a puck. But if he's not willing to stick his nose in and go get it, or go to the hard areas, go to the front of the net where the goals are scored, they're going to be pretty ineffective. So compete level and willingness to get after it is probably right up there as well.
The one thing we did notice, though, Brad, and I think and you will agree, getting to the net was a challenge for this year's version of UND's hockey team. That was something that was evident in that last game against Notre Dame.
Yeah, and you know what, Notre Dame, like with Jeff Jackson, like I talk about, when you recruit a team, I think he recruits teams that love to play defense. Love to play defense first, and that's good. They've had a lot of success, and that's the way they do it. But for us, I think we're kind of a hybrid. We're strong with and without the puck, and it was tough getting to the net on him, and it was tough getting through the neutral zone on him. And I think if there was a couple of things that kind of made us not, I guess, come out on the top of that game. Number one was I thought some of our top end players got a little fatigued. I thought towards the end of the year, and that's me looking inwardly as far as maybe utilizing some other players a little bit more. But I thought they got a little fatigued. Connor Ford, maybe Reese a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't think we made enough plays. I don't think we made enough plays in the offensive zone. And part of that is having guys that can finish, pure finishers. Reese Gaber's a pure finisher. We need to add a couple of those guys. We feel that Jason Blake's son that's playing in the USHL, he can finish. Owen McLaughlin, a kid that's out of Pennsylvania, coming to our program up the middle, he can finish. We've got some guys that are coming into our program here that have a little offensive acumen to their game.
I tell you what, Brad, we sure appreciate your family sharing you with us on this night. I see your wife walking in the background, your daughter. You know what? You need to go spend some time with them. You've been coaching, you've been doing the media stuff, but we really sincerely appreciate you jumping on board with us and having some fun with Rick Zombo and setting the plate for next year. A lot of excitement only a week and a half after your season ended.